So today we're going to be looking at print on demand. Now, why did I choose to go with this? It's because a lot of you come from the e-commerce side of the business, and it's something that you are very much engaged with. You've started creating designs and such like, so I thought it will be opportune to talk about print on demand today. A lot of you seem to be making some good money from that. So for those of you who are just starting out, who are just dipping your toe, let's have a look at some of the mechanics behind this business. So what is print on demand? It's a process where you work with a supplier to customize white label products like mugs and t-shirts. We'll have a look at that in just a moment, with your own designs to sell them on a per order basis under your own brand. And that means that you don't pay for the product after it's actually sold. So there's no need to buy in bulk or hold any inventory. So it's a really good business from that perspective. The other reason it's a very successful business and attractive is because it gives us the ability to be different. It's all based on our creativity. So it means that we can have a competitive edge against our competitors. So it's important from that perspective as well. Plus, with print-on-demand services, everything after the sale from printing to shipping is handled by the supplier. So really, it can be a rather hands-off business in as much as we need to come up with creative designs, we need to drive traffic to them, but everything after that, the fulfillment and everything else is taken care of by a third party. So that's why it's very attractive, because it means that we can be as creative as we want, but we don't have to worry about the inventory or the various logistical parts of this business. So how do we start? First of all, we need to we need to choose a niche and product. Now, we've spoken about this in previous and in future calls as well, but you do need to choose a niche and products. We'll look at that later. You need to get your designs and website ready. Now, you could actually sell on some of the print-on-demand websites such as Gearbubble, for example. You don't need to have your own store. The problem with that is that if you, for example, just use the Gearbubble URL, it means you can't sell other products, whereas if you have your own store, you can have different products in that niche. So once you've paid for the traffic, you want to be maximizing your returns, you want to be converting people, you want to be doing, for example, buy two, get one free, these sort of things to create scarcity. And that's going to be more difficult on a site like Gearbubble, a lot easier on Shopify, which is full of apps, scarcity apps, retargeting apps, and so on. Choose your print provider and add the product to your store, and then promote the store. And then we check performance, experiment, and make improvements. That probably sounds more difficult than it really is, because what we need to do is just see the items that sell, and then if they sell, what we do is we can add different colors to them. I'll show you in just a moment how that works. Or maybe we can have small variations on the same products, and then we can drive the same traffic to them. I'd always recommend to build a list as well in our niche, which is another reason why I would go for a niche store rather than a generalist store, because that enables us to get a list together, which is a lot more difficult with a generalist, or even impossible with a generalist store. So let's look at the pros, some of the strengths, and then the weaknesses, and these can all be overcome. I think it's a pretty solid business. It's actually a nice little add-on business to others, but the pros, so we can create the products quickly. Shipping is taken care of, and there is low investment and practically no risk. The difficulties or the challenges, there could be lower margins, because we have to rely on a third party to do all the work for us, but then again, there is less work involved as well. There's less control over shipping and limited customization. So you'll see that there is a limit to how many products we can offer. However, having said that, if we go with Shopify, for example, we can have different products from Gearbubble, we can have different products from Redbubble. So there is actually quite a wide range, but ultimately we are at the hands of someone else, a third-party supplier there. So where do we get designs from? Fiverr, Upwork, 99 Designs, which have got really, really cool designs, a bit more expensive, but really cool stuff in there, and then Design Crowd. And where do we get inspiration from? Google Images, I might look at that in just a moment, but Google Images is a really, really good place to get some ideas, to get some quotation ideas as well. Facebook as well. So if you just go into any group or any page, you might be retargeted with some other store owners, or you might be able to see other people's stores and so on. But there's a lot of stuff of this kind being advertised. What I'd recommend that you do is go to Facebook and then just type in your niche and Gearbubble, or your niche and print on demand, and you'll see there's a lot of stuff coming through. There's actually a really good way to get a feel for adverts as well, what's being advertised and how it's being advertised. And of course, we should never copy. So this is an inspiration. We just want to be getting the inspiration from this, not to copy. So my top tips, I've been doing this for about 4 years, and here's what I've learned. So I'm not a designer. You're most likely not to be as well. Get on Fiverr, get yourself someone cheap to make the designs for you. Ensure the product quality by ordering a sample yourself. That's really important, and that's especially important if you sell through Amazon, for example, because feedback in there is pretty much make or break. Unless you have good feedback with Amazon, you're done for. So do that. Just order the one sample for yourself and get the shipping costs right, because that can hurt your margins. So don't mess around with that. Just make sure they've got quite a few different matrices in there that can help you determine the correct shipping costs depending on where you're from in the world. And focus on a niche to make marketing easier. And then manage expectations. So this is very important. Again, with Amazon, everyone now with Prime, they're expecting next day or even same day delivery. You're not going to get that with print on demand. So you do need to put on the listing that it's going to be a couple of weeks. And also, one thing that I always do is as soon as someone places the order, I send them the tracking number, and that takes the pressure off me, and then they can just go and check the tracking number themselves, and they're happy. They're a lot more likely to give me good feedback, and it's a win-win. So let's have a quick look at how this works in reality. Just bear with me here 1 second, guys. Sorry. Okay, so I've got a test account here, and I've created a little mug there. It's called Print on Demand. I've put quite a basic little design on it. So what we do, let me go to gearbubble.com. So Gearbubble, there's Redbubble. There's quite a few of these. There's quite a few of these you can get this work done. So if we go to Gearbubble, sorry, let me come out of the campaigns here. Nope. It is in campaigns, so let me possibly log out and log back in again so you can see how to do this. I'm going to log in again. And then what we do is no, sorry guys, just 1 second. For some reason it's pushing me to the campaigns. I don't want to go to campaigns. I just want to create a product from scratch just to show you how it's done. It's pretty simple to do, but it does take a bit of knowing how to navigate your way. So what I'm going to do here, okay, right, here we go. All right, so I'm going to be launching a campaign. That's really where you want to start. So you go to there. So it's free to set up an account. Now, this is what I was saying in terms of there is quite a good choice here. So you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4. And so we got 16 products at the moment. So you can have your design on 16 products. So they're just adding all the time. And all of these, all we need to do is basically just add the design onto them and then putting them on the store. We'll be getting a URL, or we just take the image and we put it on our Shopify store or Amazon or whichever. So if we go for, say, coffee mug, and the next step. And so what's good about this is the fact that once you get one design done, you can do this for all of these products. So it's actually pretty powerful from that perspective. And I've got one ready here. So obviously, depending on which niche we're going to be in, that's going to determine the design or whichever. So this is just a sort of a little demo design there. So I've got a little smiley face there, and you can see you can choose which products. You can have a color changing mug, so that would change when it's heating up. When you put hot water into it, it changes colors. And you can have different colors as well, default color like that. Now, not sure what happened to my design there. Here we go again. And then you can see here that you got your base cost and you can see the profit. So really depending on how much profit. Now that includes all the materials, the printing of your design, and it doesn't include the shipping. That's the only thing that it doesn't include. So if we have, say, if we go for, say, $9.95, then that's going to give us $5. So that's still 50%. That's pretty good. You can personalize it. So you can actually give it a sort of a layer of, you can allow your customers to personalize the product, which is really, really good because personalization is really popular. You can have the fonts set up here, and then you go on to the next step. And we add a description. So it's really up to us. This is really for the link. If we were to sell it on Gearbubble itself, we would have a little description here. We can have a title. So this is where we would call it, say, smiley face March or something like this, depending really on the niche. If we were in the elephant jewelry niche, it will be elephant jewelry March or something like that. You put in the category. So the other thing that you can do is there is a marketplace within Gearbubble. So that's a really good way to get some sales. So what you do is essentially, it's almost like as if you're listing it on Gearbubble. You put tags for it to get found, and you choose a campaign length. Although there is a setting somewhere that enables us to, so that here we go, evergreen there. So you don't, so this overrides that one. So the evergreen just means that it's on there pretty much for perpetuity until such time that you want to remove it. You tick the box, and that's it. You're good to go. You can set the back as default site to show, and that's it. You're good to go. So then you have all these products with all these amazing quotes, funny quotes, and so on. I mean, if we look at, say, I've mentioned the elephant niche, and I've mentioned Google and Facebook as locations to find some inspiration. I believe that Facebook was actually down earlier today, so let me have a look at Google. So I'll go to Google Images, and we'll look at, say, elephant, and then we'll go for Gearbubble. And you can see some ideas. They are going to be quite funny. Just freaking love elephants. Okay, so we don't want to be copying any of these. I mean, the designs are going to be original. Possibly the quotes aren't going to be. So we can just get some nice quotes within our niche and get the design done, put it on the various products, add it to Shopify. The Gearbubble is actually integrated now with Shopify and Amazon. So this entire drop shipping thing is a lot simpler than it used to be. So when there's an order on Shopify, it automatically gets fulfilled as it does from Amazon. So all we need to do is just come up with these designs, quotes, put it on our store, put it on Amazon, possibly put it on eBay, because there's some really good traffic in there. I don't believe that's integrated yet. We can do that manually, and then we're good to go. We start to drive some sales. And of course, because we have 16 different product categories, immediately just by having, say, 3 designs, we can have close to 50 products on there. So it's simple. It's simpler than it used to be. I'd recommend to get a VA from somewhere where you pay a couple of dollars an hour and let them do the work. There is nothing sensitive in there. There is no financial information or anything like this. It's just a question of just copy and pasting the designs and then listing them. So very, very straightforward, guys. So the only thing we need to do is concentrate on traffic. Now, we've covered traffic in previous modules, and we'll cover traffic in future modules as well. But I just wanted to show you the mechanics of how this business works, and that's pretty much the long and the short of it.